But my team that I see that is continuing to get better is Kansas. I think they would have been number one in the country if they didn't lose to Gonzaga the first week of college basketball. But this is a team that can possibly win it this year, and they could have possibly won it last year. I think they have a balanced breakfast over there. They have Ochai Agbaji, who's stepping up this year, who's leading the team in scoring and in 3-point percentage. Jalen Wilson is he's their Mr. Consistency. He scores and he rebounds. And Mr. All Defense and Marcus Garrett, and that's the leader. He just doesn't set guys up, but he'll take the ball from you if you put it in front of him.
This is where we really need to see Baylor and Gonzaga play. Please, Mark Few. Please, Scott Drew. Find a way to make this happen, because we did see Gonzaga, Kansas, and I agree with you. Even early on this season, like Bill Self always does, his teams evolve. They've evolved defensively. Christian Braun, Big 12 honors for him this week, and rightly so. They found some versatility. People were wondering how they were going to score the ball in Lawrence this year. That's not going to be an issue for Kansas. Yeah. Look, Baylor deserves that title for now. They have not lost. In my mind, they defend as well as anybody in college basketball. You have an All-American in Jared Butler. You have Masio T. You have Jonathan Shamwa-Thachua, who is a legit big man inside that has taken over that role that was left by Gillespie, who was so good in that role for them last year. So I think about Baylor, and I still think that they're the second best team in America. They have a completeness about them. And if you think about it, you have to look at who some of their guys are that are coming off the bench. And that's one thing that I look at with Baylor is they've definitely groomed a bench. L.J. Cryer's coming off a 4 3-pointer performance. And that's big for Baylor to find that extra score. And Matthew Mayer, also another guy that can contribute for them. So for the Bears, when you think about the fact that they have an All-American, they're so great defensively. Maceo Teague is someone who makes so many things come together for them, and they found some depth. I will go with Baylor, and I think that it's too early to sit here and say in a season that's a long and winding road that it's just those two teams. I think that Villanova can still grow. Yeah. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl's a really, really good player who's taken a huge leap, and that's not getting accounted for enough. And they have a point guard in Colin Gillespie. Villanova's shown us, too, that when they have the pieces in March, they've showed us recently that they know how to go on a run. They know how to play a game their way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I definitely agree with Villanova can possibly be number 2 or 3. They're right up there. But, this starting – I think the top 5 is pretty not going to change. I think Texas can be that top 5 team also, I think, by the end of the week. But Kansas, they're not the same team they played. They're not the same team the first week of the season.
No, but now Texas plays Kansas this week.
Right. But if Kansas would have played Gonzaga around this time, I think we'll have different results right now because, like I mentioned,
Really?
I really think that Kansas is really going to take that step. They're going to continue to get better. Like I said, they could have won it last year, and they're shooting 40.
Last year they had Dotson and Azubuike. It was a different team.
I get that, but they're shooting 40% from the three-point line, and they defend, and they play together, and they're young. So they have a nice system. They got to have like that rotating door where guys come in, guys leave. Guys, like you said, a Christian Broom who's going to step up, the sophomore that can shoot the 3 ball. And Bryce Thompson hasn't even showed who he is because he's playing behind other people. This team is always going to be solid and is always going to be in that conversation of one of the best teams in the country.